everyone, my name is Maddi Froiland. I was in the 2019 and 2020, the COVID years, Jerusalem West Bank YAGM cohort.
Hi, my name is Savanna Sullivan and I served as a young adult in global mission in Rwanda in 2015 and 2016.
Hi, my name is Brittany Barkus and I served in the YAGM Australia program from 2017 to 2018.
When we're talking about relationships, this is something that I think is probably the most important part of YAGM, and it's something I learned a lot about as a YAGM. In Palestine, people speak Arabic, and of course many people speak English, and this was essential for a lot of the relationships I made. But I learned as a YAGM kind of the art of being in a place where you do not speak the same language and you are the outsider. And I think that Palestine is a place you rarely feel like an outsider. It's a very welcoming and hospitable culture. But there were many times where I was sitting in a room and I couldn't understand anything. And I kind of learned that this act of showing up and this act of kind of sitting and drinking coffee and saying, I'm here and I want to be here and I want to be spending this time with you, that is an important foundation for building relationships.
I would say there are lots of relationships from my YAGM year that are still really prevalent in my life now. But one of them was with a young woman named Veronica. Veronica is a Lutheran pastor from Tanzania who was serving as a missionary in Rwanda at the same time that I was, at the same Lutheran secondary school as I was. We were two young women from different sides of the world who were both experiencing life abroad in Rwanda and being missionaries together for the first time. Veronica and I formed a friendship when I was serving in Rwanda as we taught some religion classes together. She helped take care of me when I got sick. We watched TV shows together when we were missing home and made popcorn, ate it for dinner. So it was a really special friendship in Rwanda. Fast forward 10 years, now Veronica is a PhD student, or just recently PhD graduate at the Lutheran School of Theology in Chicago, and I also live in Chicago as I work for the Global Church. So we've actually been able to be a part of other really important moments in each other's lives. She came to my 30th birthday party. I got to welcome her to an international delegation that we took to the ELCA youth gathering last year. So I would say that it's really incredible to me how these connections kind of persist across space, time, continents, how these friendships that formed during my YAGM year continue to be really important to me now.
One experience of the global church that's really shaped my ministry moving forward is that about half of my congregation that I worshiped with in Australia is from Papua New Guinea. And there was a missionary pastor that had started at the church who had served in Papua New Guinea for about 15 years before taking this new call at the church in Australia. And when he arrived, he had, realized that this community that was all worshiping pretty much just a very traditional, like English, white Lutheran worship, he asked them, why are you not also singing some of the hymnody from Papua New Guinea? Why are you not praying in their language too, when about half of the congregation is from part of the global church? Why are you not embracing that? So it was really cool throughout the year that I was there and onward. He guided them in having the community share some of their hymnody and liturgies together, and I got to see how these two very it seemed like two very separate communities kind of come together in worship.
I think one of the biggest ways I'm more globally engaged with the church today is my role as the program director for ELCA Samud for Justice in Palestine and Israel. This is the ELCA initiative in response to occupation and injustice in the Holy Land, and it helps empower the advocacy, awareness, and accompaniment that the ELCA holds when it comes to this issue. So this is a really big global engagement that I'm a part of. I think that also just thinking about the church as a global being is something that I didn't begin doing until YAGM. I think that my relationship to church was very American, and to be able to go every Sunday and be part of a congregation all the way across the world, hear how other Lutherans worship in a different language, in a different culture, this really expanded my viewpoint of what church is, and that the church is global. It's incomplete without all of the pieces that exist around the world.
My YAGM year totally changed my engagement in the global church. Before I went to be a young adult in global mission in Rwanda, I had only left the country once, and I knew very, very little about the global church at all. Now, I work as program executive for youth at the Lutheran World Federation, connecting 160 Lutheran member churches and 78 million Lutherans around the world, specifically working with young people. And I would say young adults in global mission is one of the places that I heard the Holy Spirit's call to work with young people. During my YAGM year, I worked with Rwandan young adults who were exploring their gifts and talents. I worked with them in leadership formation and asking big spiritual questions. And I really loved that work, and I felt like I learned as much from the conversations as hopefully they did. And I wanted to continue to do that with my life, to continue to learn from the wisdom of young people, to continue to help the church connect young people to each other, and to connect the generations, to acknowledge that the Holy Spirit is alive in each of us and we need each other. And I think that passion for connecting young people around the world especially really started in young adults in global mission. It's fun because I've gotten to actually then go back to the Lutheran Church of Rwanda, and in my role now, co-lead a peace building training for young people from around the world with leaders from the Lutheran Church of Rwanda. So I would say my love for the global church was born in young adults in global mission. My call was really solidified during my time, it really clarified during my time in young adults in global mission. Before I was a YAGM in Rwanda, I had only left the United States once, and I had never heard of the Lutheran World Federation. Now, I serve in my career as program executive for youth at the Lutheran World Federation, and it's my job to help connect especially young people in the 160 LWF member churches around the world. That's 78 million Lutherans around the world that I get to work with. And one of those member churches that I get to work with is the Lutheran Church of Rwanda, which I feel really grateful for.
I think that the young adult in global missions accompaniment model is something really special and fairly unique when it comes to programs that send young adults around the world to be with church partners. I think a lot of times this kind of work is framed as mission work, or it's framed as helping, and to use the word accompany really lifts up that we are walking with our partners. We are not, walking in front of them or walking behind them. We're walking right next to them because we are partners, and that's what partnership is. And the idea seems so simple, but in practice it's so important. And I think that relationships built that way are genuine and they're authentic, and they lead to a lot of beautiful things. I was really blessed after I left YAGM. I was able to come back and to be a communications officer in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in Jordan in the Holy Land for 3 years. And so this is something that I carried with me every day of that work. I no longer had my YAGM coordinators walking alongside me as I was not a YAGM anymore, but this accompaniment piece always was in my heart because it really guided and shaped the whole way I think about living in a different country. And so I'm so grateful that the YAGM program has this form and this language to talk about relationships with our partners around the world. I think this is a very Christ-centered way to think about this kind of engagement.